Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the Vault. Trust Christian own, not to control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listening to replay. This is definitely going to be a great episode 636 BOI, which stands for Beneficial Owner. Interest equals why are you the beneficiary? So we're going to talk about it today. We know that this episode is going to have a lot of value, add a lot of weight. Definitely appreciate all the trustees for tuning in live, listening to replay. If this episode prompts you to want to get a consultation, you can feel free to reach out Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, that's Christian at trustchristian.com. Feel free to reach out. We just want to go ahead and state for the record, this isn't financial advice or legal advice. So, we got a bunch of lawyers that we saw do episodes about this topic. And hey, when you're in the business world, we're all going to have a jolly shot at it. And this is something for the trustees that are tuned into the trustee episodes for years now. Sunday trustee training for sure. So we're just going to go ahead and talk about the most important things that we've seen come up about this topic. Add a lot of value to the trustees that are in trusteeship. Bottom line. And so we're just sitting here going over. We're seeing a few people that prompted us to do the episode, and it's mainly because people are just selling people up the river. Oh, you got to report. You got to report. You got to report. Okay. Did they tell you who didn't have to report? Everybody's telling you to report. First of all, trustees. We just read here. It says whoever owns or controls it. Okay. Then we also saw something that says up to about 25%. Well, trustees know that that's the way to move there. Maybe we should ask for a little bit more clarity. How much ownership or control do we need to have of the company in order to report? Or have to report? See, these are the questions that people don't ask. They just going along with the dippity da because it's, oh, you got to report. Once again, it's a voluntary system. This isn't even a three-letter name. They got a whole nother new name that they telling people to report to. Who's they? Oh, now we see why a lot of people don't trust the lawyers in their accounts. Because they be sitting here just telling you stuff to do and not telling you everything. We're sitting here on the actual website. The website that tells you got to report. Okay, how much percentage of the company do you supposed to own that you have to report? Trustees know, oh, okay. The majority owner is who? Okay. Remember, this is an analytics system, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, this is an analytics system. They're utilizing this to get information and scan the data. Who's owning what? Okay. So let's talk about it. Oh, trust Christian Vault. I gotta file this form. Who told you that? Has the company received a letter yet? Has the company received a letter yet? Some of the private trustees will say no. Most people, that's just the bottom line. Most trustees understand the private sector. So we're going to go down to the section that it says what companies are required. Domestic companies. Domestic companies, limited liability companies, other companies created by filing a document where? At the Secretary of State's office? Or they're trying to say that. Okay, it is what it is. We see it. Foreign reporting companies are entities, very general, including corporations and limited liability companies formed under the law of a foreign country that have registered to do business in the United States by filing a document with the Secretary of State or any similar office. So, very general, trying to do this. We're going to put into the chat the frequently asked questions. Give it to y'all straight. Pen it in the comments, as people say. Bam. So, when you look at the document, it says, under what law was the company created? This is private trustee training. When we talk about these things, we talk about, oh, it's these entities that have to report. They're telling you who has to report. We put the frequently asked questions. They have an exemption list. They have a long list, but they have a short list. Now, on the list, it says a large operating company. Sorry if you don't have that. They said an accounting firm. Sorry, you may not have that. A venture capital fund advisor. Doesn't have to report, right? Hold on. They don't have to report that they were doing business in America too. They might be doing business domestically. What happened here? Y'all want us to go through this? Hold on. Y'all ready for the biggest conspirator, right? Exemption list has a bank on it, has a credit union on it, has a depository holding company, a money services business. Hold on. They don't have to report the beneficial owners of these companies? Hold on, why am I owning the lawn service company then, Trust Christian Involved? Why do I own a transportation company, Trust Christian Involved? Why don't I go do those? Exactly. Because people didn't come on the website and find out what businesses stay in the level of protection and don't. And people used to come to the vault all the time and ask, where do I register the private trust? Well, yeah, where would you register? We've never talked about that. Why would you be registering something? Is it a public entity or private? It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Trust Christian, why are you giving out the jewels? This is the third. No, we're just like, you can talk to a lawyer about that. That's the purpose of us having this conversation. So you can have that conversation with an attorney and say, okay, I need to know the difference between public and private. There's clearly some advantages and disadvantages. Oh, we got a file, but did we have that conversation? We got people sitting, we know people sit on the internet telling y'all to file the BOI and they in private trusteeship. That's the part that's why we did the episode. Because y'all don't want to know this. People don't want to know this. Well, how come they telling us to do it, but they not on no documents in the public? They ain't on no documents in the public with the filing. They don't have to do it because they're in the right business because X, Y, and Z. Now, surprisingly, we see that a sole prop doesn't have to file. Why doesn't it? Because it's your personal. They know where the money's going. Unless it's a sole proprietor who was created, they have a few words there in the United States by filing a document at the Secretary of State. An entity is a reporting company only if it was created and they tell you registered to do business and is filed in a document at the Secretary of State. Filing a document with a government agency to obtain the IRS employer identification number. It says a fictitious business name, a professional, occupational license does not create a new entity. You see how they told you that? It's from the website. Therefore, does not make a sole proprietorship filing a document a reporting company. Now, this is where, once again, this is not, we didn't want to use a bad word there, but this is where people get got. And it's fair, so you could say, oh man, that sounds good. Maybe I should be a sole proprietor. Judge Christian told us the codes. Not at all. Like, you can read the document yourself, and it tells you that these are considered an alter ego. So let's go to the S corps because we got a lot of trustees. They come through with the S corps. We're gonna go ahead and market this episode to a bunch of old trustees that they might still be stuck in a S corp, and they're gonna find out. It says an S corp, a corporation is treated as a pass-through entity under a subchapter corp, and it qualifies as a reporting company. Simple as that. Y'all can read the rest of it, but for the most part, it qualifies as what we said. Simple as that. Yeah, once again, it's definitely telling public people to file. People are surprised. We're should be no level of apprehension or upset because these are just things that are for public people. They say that their mission is to deal with money laundering better and to deal with what else did they say? They want to deal with national security threats. So, once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is a conversation to say, okay, well, are we in the public or are we in the private? These are asking for public entities to report what's going on in the public. Now, if we're doing things properly, then we know this doesn't apply to certain people and it applies to certain people. And they want to say through substantial control, interest, or both. And so, once again, what is substantial? It says there is no maximum number of beneficial owners that can be reported. But let's talk about the fact that what is what is considered substantial control. And as you keep scrolling, they got more. Substantial control. Any officer holding a position or exercising authority as a president, a CFO, a general counsel, GC, a CEO or COO, any other officer, regardless of official title, who performs similar function in these offices. Substantial control. Are you holding financial control? Are you holding operational control? Appointment of removal authority. Any individual with the ability to appoint, remove a senior officer of a majority board of directors or similar body. Simple as that. These are what they consider substantial control now, huh? Important decision maker. Any individual who directs, determines any of the substantial influences over important decisions making made by a reporting company, include decisions regarding the company's reporting of business, finances, and structure. We're going to keep going to catch-all. Any form of substantial control over a reporting company. Control exercised in a few unique ways can still be substantial. For example, flexible corporate structures may have different indications of control than indications included here. You see how they keep this general information, ladies and gentlemen, but people just, I'm gonna give it up the first night instead of asking questions. So we went through. It says one of the indicators of substantial control is the individual is an important decision maker, and so they have the definitions of what is an important decision maker when it comes to interest, equity, stock, voting rights, capital or profit interest, convertible instruments. Do you have a convertible instrument for the entity? All y'all trying to talk about these equitable instruments, these security instruments. Option or privilege. Interesting people don't know about actual what's called an option, but we're actually going to read this for trustees. I'm sure you find a lot of value in it. Option or privilege to put a call. Any put, call, straddle, or option, privilege or buying or selling equity, stock, or rolling rights, capital or profit interest, or convertible instruments, except if the option or privilege is created or held by others without the knowledge or involvement of the reporting company. They still always giving outs for people, huh? A catch-all. Any instrument, contract, arrangement, understanding, relation, or mechanism used to establish ownership. It's interesting. We always want to find out what is the beneficial owners. We talk to trustees. They say, "What's the beneficial interest? Trust Christian involved. I'm a beneficial owner. Trust Christian involved. A beneficial owner. How my children gonna be the beneficiaries? So you gonna give up their names? So now people can go on public record." They trying to say that it's not too much of a public record, but it is enough of a public record that you're not private once that information is in the public. See if there's any questions in the chat. If y'all feel like typing any questions in the chat, feel free to type any questions in the chat. We're actually going through the FAQ for y'all because we get some of this information over to us, and people say, "Oh man, I need to know about this." It's like, well, did we ask these questions on the front end? Oh, if a spouse has ownership interest in a reporting company, is the other spouse also considered a beneficial owner if the reporting company is created and registered in a community property state? Oh, possible. Whatever state property laws affect a beneficial owner determination will determine upon specific consequences of applying the applicable state law. If applying community's property state law, both spouses own or control at least 25% of the ownership interest of a reporting company, then both spouses should be reporting to the organization as a beneficial interest unless the exception applies. Do you hear the level of was the reporting company created before after 24? They got that. There's a difference between creating and register, but they also want to find out quite a bit of that information. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we encourage you all to read over these documents. See if anybody typed into anything into the chat. Feel free to reach out, Christian at trustchristian.com. We can go over it in more detail. We're not telling anybody to do anything or not do anything. We want to make that very clear. Wow. Yeah. People say, oh, I want cryptocurrency. This is it. They want cryptocurrency so they can have all your information. Huh. So they can have corporate company overseers on the owners because the public people don't know that they can be private. So we always appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listen, replay. Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, that's Christian at trustchristian.com. We look forward to hearing from you all and reaching out, getting a consultation. We definitely want to give a big shout out right now to some of the trustees uh, that have just, we have some families that have gone through, and we want to give a big shout out if you guys have listened or people have listened this long to really say, hey, you can do it, ladies and gentlemen. You can do, you can work with your family. Your family can get on the same page. It could take some time, but if you step out on leadership, you'll be surprised. And we have multiple generations that we've been working with recently in the past year, and their mother, father, sometimes they're senior mothers, and you see that they have children and there's grandchildren involved, and there's three generations there, ladies and gentlemen. And how do you get past people learning in these environments with multiple generations? You don't get past it, ladies and gentlemen. And it's so important to just step out on faith and get the job done. Start taking the right action. A lot of the family members will come later because not everybody's going to get it at the same time. So we just want to give some families some hope. We definitely know that there's a lot of families that have reached out, and there are families that are going through the training. Just want to say big shout out to the families that have gone through recently, and they're doing it as multiple nuclear families, and it's not just one, because that can be challenging, but it's a great accomplishment when you can have multiple families come together. It brings a lot of value to the table, and people just know it pays big dividends. It may seem like you're going through the growing pains right now, but that's all it is, ladies and gentlemen. You're going, a lot of y'all going through first gen growing pains. How are you going to build an estate if you don't put any legwork into the foundation of the estate? There's a lot of legwork that goes into a family estate, but once that puppy is up, once it's self-sustaining, once it's a body, once it can move on its own, it's institutional, then we can move as an institution. Now we have institutional loans we can take out. We can move as an institutional family, and we're not just moving as a retail family. We're not just not accredited investors. We want to be accredited investors as a family overall. As a whole, as a family, we want to be accredited investor, let alone individuals accredited investors. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listen, replay. Feel free to reach out. Feel free to reach out, Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, that's Christian at trustchristian.com. Peace and joy.